Hello, everyone, and welcome to Whispering Wind Psychic Cowgirl. My name is Reverend Melissa Kennedy, and I just thought I would do a little video and talk a little bit about myself, which I typically don't do and have never really felt comfortable just talking about myself or tooting my horn or whatever you call talking about yourself. Um, but I feel like since you have found my channel, and if you've watched any of my videos, you'll see that I've been posting a daily card reading. And I really find that in this part of my journey now, that I really understand energy so much more. But I will say, as I was growing up, I did not understand energy and how it can affect people who are sensitive to energy. And there are different levels of sensitivity in this human body that we live in. So I found out that I was born an empath. I was born with psychic abilities that I was aware of. Now, I believe everyone is born with psychic abilities, but we are not taught that we all embody other senses other than our physical sight through our eyes, our smell, our taste, our hearing, the way we feel with our senses, our body, our hands. Those aren't just all of the senses that human beings have. We have senses that are called the clairs, and I embody all of the clairs. I say to everybody, I'm like a clair cornucopia of humanness, and maybe you are too. But the biggest thing um, I have is being an empath, and that makes me feel other people's energy. And if you are an empath, you will know what I'm talking about because it's not just on a superficial level, like you will actually feel the thoughts of other people, you will feel the feelings, and once they speak, you will feel it even more. It's like you have the ability to step into that other person's reality, their existence. And sometimes that can be very uncomfortable, especially if you don't know that is what you are or you embody that aspect of humanness that you are an empath. And so I'm also clairsentient, and all empaths are clairsentient. I would lay money on it because we feel the energy, we feel things that wouldn't be associated with our everyday senses. We feel the experiences, we just have this knowing, we feel other people's vibration, their frequency, sometimes their thoughts. We just feel everything. So when you combine an empath with a clairsentient, you get what the world would consider a kind of like superhuman, almost freakish kind of human being, but we're not. And that's what we're taught, that these things are strange or they might be considered freaky or weird. And we're going to find out as we progress as human beings on this planet that these clairs are something that all of us have. We're just taught. We're not taught that they're real. We're not taught that they exist. We're taught completely opposite. And I was clairaudient as a young girl. I've always had that guiding voice, that inner voice. And I always tell the story of how I was my best friend. We were on the school bus one day, and I made a podcast about this, and I wanted to just tell the story again here, that I got on the school bus one day, and this voice I would just hear. It was a very calming voice, a gentle voice, a kind voice, and it would guide me, or it would tell me not to do a certain thing or to do a certain thing that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. And so when I got on the bus, sat next to my best friend, I asked her, I asked her name. I said her name and I said, "Do you ever hear that little voice inside of your head?" And she looked at me and she's like, no, what voice?" And I never talked about that little voice to anybody again, but it was just part of my reality. And that is my clairaudience, my clear hearing. And that is what would be considered a psychic ability or a psychic sense. And um, so that is another clair. And then you have clairvoyance, which is clear sight, and you see things not so much with your physical eyes, but with your third eye, or I call that your clear seeing, your clear sight, your clairvoyance. And I have that clear as well. And I found that when I was younger, I would have these traumatizing nightmares, and my clairvoyance would turn on while I was asleep. And I would totally block that out, and um, I would see things with my physical eyes with my clear sight during the day, and it would scare me. So I figured out how to shut it down. I just completely blocked it out. And I feel um, a lot of children do this now, even to this day. They'll see things and adults will tell them, "Oh, don't worry, that's just your imagination." And in a way, it kind of is like a center of our imagination. And then we have another clair, which is claircognizance, which we just know things. We just know. I don't know how I know things, but I just know. And I don't need anybody to tell me that what I know, I know. I know it's truth. I don't really care to make other people understand that it's truth. It's my truth. So I was born in with these clairs and being an empath. And I found as a very young girl that adults would just start telling me things. And I remember I was about 12 and one of my mom's friends just started like telling me things, confiding in me. And after she was done, I thought to myself, "Oh, that was odd. Why did she tell me all of the things that she told me? I'm only 12." And empaths have that effect on people. People that have these clairs fully activated and they're there. And as a child, I wasn't taught how to use them or how to um, experience them in a way that was healthy for me, that maybe would have helped somebody. But I really was helping people because after she told me these things, or while she was telling me these things, I just knew exactly what to say to her and exactly how to help her. I don't know how I knew that. I just knew. There was my claircognizance, that's what I was born in with. And I have to say that these abilities are in your family lines, they're in my family lines. I found out after I started developing and understanding my psychic abilities that both my grandmothers were psychic. My dad was psychic. Um, and my mom is psychic. My aunt is psychic. We've never really talked about it, but I know she is. We would all sync up and we'd all call each other at the same time every day. Nobody would even say anything. And I'd be like, "Oh man, like I was trying to call my mom." And then she would try to call. We'd do it all the time. And then we'd be thinking of each other. And then one of us would call each other. So we were all on the same wavelength, the same frequency, very psychic, both sides of the family. Um, but I'm the one that has developed this and embraced this and known that this is part of my life path, my life journey. And I always felt like something was missing, like I was supposed to be doing something greater, a higher calling, a greater calling. And I'm actually working on that now. And here I am making this video explaining how I have come to this place where I'm at now. And so, let me get back to energy because a lot of what stopped me about developing my psychic abilities was early on. I would meditate and I would have these experiences, and they were so real, just as real as me sitting in my chair in my office behind the eyes. I call it the all-seeing eye of God. I've actually been there, and a meditation was brought there. I forget what nebula it's called, but anyway, but this is what the all-seeing eye of God looks like. Literally, I've been there. I experienced it. And that's another thing. People don't understand that I've never meditated, but our experiences when we meditate are just as real as our experiences in the physical reality. And sometimes we might even remember our meditation experiences more than we remember things in our everyday lives. But that's a whole other topic. Um, I digress. But I want to say that me experiencing, my abilities and understanding them didn't come easily. I would feel this energy, and I know it was because there were darker energies that didn't want me to develop and to become the person that I am right now to help other people develop theirs. And so I would get this wave of energy, and it would just affect me, and these dark energies would come in, and I just stopped like growing spiritually back in like 2006 and 2007. And my son is also very spiritually gifted, and he would make me look like um child's play compared to him, because he's very, very gifted, but he's not into developing his spiritual gifts right now, and he's shut them off. But I do know that one day they will, he will have to use them. So, anyway, I just leave that there, and it's okay. We're all on our own path, our own journey. This is mine. And I'm being called to bring up, I was on the energy, so I have to say that I have to go back to that because I don't want to get too far off track. But the angels and angels in my life have been what has helped me to get to this point, and I owe it all to the angels, keeping me grounded, keeping me cleared, keeping my energy cleared, keeping my energy protected. And if you don't think protecting your energy is a thing, well, I'm happy for you. But in my world, keeping my energy protected is a real thing. So, because I feel energy a lot more than other people will feel it that aren't aware of their clairs. So, I learned how to clear my energy, understand it, and know that I am perfectly safe in my world and in my reality and in my spiritual practice. So, with that being said, I just want to say that it's taken me a lot of study, a lot of time, a lot of energy to get where I am right now. And I will say that I was activated the day my dad passed away on April 17th, 2016. I always knew that I had abilities, but that day when my dad passed, my psychic abilities were turned on like a switch, and there was no turning back for me. It was like God opened the door and said, Melissa, it's now time to walk through. It's now time to face any fears. It's time to clear any programming. It's now time to walk in your journey, in your power, in the fullness of who you are. And that's what I did. And I'll tell you what happened. So when my mom called me, I got a call from my mom, and I lived 2 doors up from her, and she said my dad was on the floor. She was in a panic, so I just dropped everything, threw some clothes on, ran up there. I mean, I don't think I ever moved so fast in my entire life, and I'm not exactly 20 years old anymore. And I'm even shocked to this day that I moved that fast, got my clothes on. But I want to tell you what happened prior to this. I woke up at about 3 o'clock, and something told me I needed to my voice told me, not something, my voice told me I should get up and shower and get dressed. And I was like, I should what? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Why? Why should I shower, get up, get dressed? My son's birthday was the 16th. We all had a party. I'm good. I'm not getting up. What are you talking about? I should get up, get dressed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Always listen to that little voice. So anyway, I get up to my mom's house and my dad is on the floor. And I immediately, get down on the floor and I start administering CPR. My mom's already called the paramedics. So it took them probably 12 minutes to get to our house. So all that time, I was giving my dad CPR because even though I knew my dad was no longer in his body, how did I know that? I could feel him standing behind me and I could hear him talking to me. That's how I knew. That's when my mediumship kicked in. And so we were talking back and forth through psychic sense of clairaudience. I could hear him. So we were having a dialogue and we were talking and I knew he was gone. I knew he was out of his body. I could feel him. And we were just bantering back and forth, just like we would have if he was alive inside of his body. And so the paramedics came. I stopped giving CPR, and they worked on him, and they couldn't get his vital signs, and so inevitably they took him out into the ambulance, and the ambulance sat in the driveway for a while, and I'm like, this is odd. Like, what are they doing? Why aren't they just taking him to the hospital? Anyway, I knew he was gone. We were talking clear audiently. And so that's how it was. And so when we got to the hospital, I remember walking in and they greeted us at the door and they said, okay, would you like us to hook him up to, life support? And I remember looking at the nurse that came up to us and I was like, have you had any vital signs on my dad since he came to the hospital? And she was like, no. And I was thinking like, well, why would you want to hook him up to life support? It makes no sense at all. If somebody's gone, they're gone. Let them go in peace. I just say that because technology is great and life-saving things are great, but when somebody's gone, they're gone. Let them go. This is not the end. Our lives end in the physical body, but we never end. I do know that for a fact. So I hope you take that for truth and know that your loved ones never end, and neither do you. And I just wanted to share that story. And so I get back to all of the hours of psychic development I've done, all of the training I've done, all of the time, the effort, because this is my love. This is my mission. This is my journey. And I'm actually starting psychic development classes in January 2nd. So if you watch this video, it's not too late for you to join my psychic development classes. You can go to my website at www.whisperingwindspsychiccowgirl.com. Even if you type in Reverend Melissa Kennedy, my website will come up. So you can still sign up and join me in my first official psychic development classes where people will be gathered and we will be getting down and dirty, but we'll be thrust into the world of, I'm calling it spiritual development, because even in our world today, the words psychic development would scare people away, but it's nothing to be afraid of. We all have these clairs that I discussed and more. I didn't discuss them all. But anyway, that will be in spiritual development, AKA psychic development. And I guarantee you that it will be enriching and fulfilling. And I have to say, I just have to mention children. I mentioned it in one of my prediction videos. The children that are very young now are talking about things that would have wigged people out probably 20 years ago. Not me per se. Um, my son was born to me for a reason. I always supported his abilities and understood them and never made him feel like there was something wrong with him because I knew there wasn't, because I knew I had those things as well. But he just probably got them a lot stronger than I did. And so that's my message, that these kids coming in, as these new generations come in, these abilities are going to be stronger and stronger, and there's going to be nobody to tell them that they don't have them. They're going to be teaching us things. Um, so if you have young children, just know that they will say things to you. They will say things to you that you might not understand, but that's okay. Just let them know that there's nothing wrong with them, that they're coming in fully activated with their spiritual understandings, their spiritual knowings. My feet are burning up as I'm saying this because this is truth. This is truth. This is truth. And your feet might feel hot too as you watch this video. My feet are on fire. Um, and that spiritual energy, that's me speaking the truth to you. So trust and know that your children are special, and they will be sharing their specialness with the world as we step into our, I'm not even sure I want to say a new world, our new consciousness on this planet. How's that? Mother Earth, Lady Gaia, is not going to change, but we are. And that's where we're going. And that's why I'm here. And that is my mission. I always knew from a very young child, my precognition, that I was here for a very important time in history. And here we are. We're stepping into some brand new consciousness, some higher awareness. I thank you for listening. I'm going to end this video now. And if you liked this video and if you enjoyed it, please like and share and subscribe to my channel for more great content. In the future, I will be interviewing people and we will be talking about many, many spiritual things. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now. Reverend Melissa Kennedy signing off.